Before I start, I'm just going to say I'm using Huggies to clean these toys today. I will be doing a subsequent video of my top 5 baby wipes to clean toys with, so if you are interested in watching that video, smash that subscribe. This guy is one of the good guys, I think, and generally I think that the good guys from the old He-Man toys are not as interesting as the bad guys. The bad guys just seem to have much cooler design, so that's how that one works. Playing football and then the ball comes in, he just like jumps across. He's the top scorer.
Meet Fisto with his super smash power. We'll see who smashes who.
So this is kind of archetypal for He-Man, and it was basically that they were all the same sculpt. This silly chest, massive torso, and then like super steroided muscles. This guy seems to have like an iron glove, like that's his special power. Oh wait, he's got the same head as the other guy. He's got the exact same head, just slightly more ginger hair. That makes them more, like I kind of want to keep them a bit more for that, but no. Really strange looking He-Man guy, but if you can see his hands, Casper's maybe had a little go at his hands. Bad guy from He-Man. I don't have all the parts for him because he's supposed to have like 6 legs or 8 legs or something. He's quite a cool looking toy, so I'll keep him. I forgot about this guy. I'm going to keep him. Ram Man, but his legs are broken. He's got loads of paint chipping off. I mean, it was from 1982, so it is quite old, but I don't think I'll put that on my shelf. I don't know. No, I'll keep him. Keep Ram Man. Some more He-Man stuff. I really like these toys, and I think I had them when I was a kid. I definitely had this one, which is like a 2-headed guy, and his action is some sort of...
I'll get him. No, he's mine.
Yeah, really cool design. Colours are grey. Doesn't stand up very well because he's got bow-legged thing going on. Skeletor. The design of it is really wicked. Proper bad guy, but still, this is better. It's not better because the kids that grow up with that are gonna say that is so shit. But that for me is reject bin. And this one for me is definitely a keeper. It's a classic toy.
Listen, I am not nice, I am not kind, and I am not wonderful.
It's got this plate on the front that kind of spins around, and I remember on the advert it would be like, oh my god, he got punched, and then he can get punched again, and then he can rejuvenate. So there was like this, they could have a battle. That was quite fun for toys of that time. So that's Skeletor. So I've got another baddie from He-Man. I don't know what his name is, but he's some sort of snake-headed bad guy. He's got like this tongue that just sticks out really long. It's really cool. The colours are great. Again, bad guy from He-Man stays. He-Man, as far as I know, was invented to sell toys. So when they have like the torso shape and the size of the figures sorted, the designers would have had to really rack their brains to try and create these characters. You had these people just like, okay, we've got that shape again. What are we going to do with it? Let's make a snake that has a tongue coming out. I mean, it's pretty clever and it's cool. I don't know. I'm keeping them. I've got a few of these newer wrestling toys. We're going to get to the old wrestling toys, which I'm a big fan of. I'm not sure who he is. 1993. So still like a little bit old. I've got a Stone Cold Steve Austin. If anybody likes these toys and collects them and we can trade something, or, you know, just hit me up on here or on Instagram or send me an email through my website, but we can sort something out. This one I think is supposed to be The Rock. So this was an era of wrestling that I was actually into, but I didn't really collect the toys at that time. But this Rock face is so bad. It doesn't look anything like him. Who does he look like? Let me know in the comments below. That's quite a good thing into the old Hasbro toys, which I really liked. I had friends that had loads and loads of them, so whenever I would go to their house we would play with them. They'd all have one really simple action. Okay, this guy's broken. These are really collectible now, and they've still got like a lot of fans of these toys. You'll see the more I show you how interesting they are, and the designs of them and the colours, they're really vibrant. This guy was called Texas Tornado. This one actually works. So he does like a little spinning clothesline thing, which is kind of fun. Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake, which actually came with a snake that kind of went around his neck.
And how appropriate.
He's got like a punching action. Let me see if I can show you. His arm goes back. These toys are not from an era of wrestling that I'm very familiar with, and not you know, I didn't watch it. And one of the reasons I didn't watch it is because I didn't have Sky TV when I was growing up. My friends that had Sky TV all collected these toys, and I was always a little bit jealous, probably. Then when I was a little bit older, there was a friend of mine that was buying all of these that he could find, and they were like 50p, where he was buying like boxes of them for 20 quid, and he was almost there with having all of them, which I imagine is worth quite a lot now. These guys are called the Nasty Boys.
We're the boys. We're the nasty boys.
They were like kind of punk rocker guys, mullet, but yeah, the actions on this one still work. And then this one, he's got that clothesline thing. Hulk Hogan. Another thing about these toys is they would always, you see the little hands, these fingers always broke off. This guy is called Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He used to come with like a 2x4. You can see his hands quite big. Go into the ring smacking people with this piece of wood. This is one of the bushwhackers, and if you look at his leg, when you lift his arm, his leg kind of does this stompy thing. Brutus the Barber Beefcake, I believe his name was. He came with some scissors, and he was one of those guys that had his legs stuck together, and then you would push at the back, and then he'd like jump backward. This was Earthquake, fat strong guy. This guy is Ricky Dragon Steamboat. I think he used to come with something because it's these holes in the back. I think he maybe came with like these wings or something. You've got Big Boss Man, Bret the Hitman Hart. Yeah, his action works. He's got like a punching action. Purple Ultimate Warrior. This is British Bulldog. Mountie. Forgot I had that guy. He was Canadian Mountie guy, which is I guess like a bounty hunter. But yeah, he's called Warlock. This was one of the guys from Legion of Doom. That was it. And again, it's that jumping style. Yeah, he was cool. They used to walk out before they fought with these big shoulder pads with spikes on them.
Swelling of the fluid sac surrounding the brain.
Obviously they couldn't have the toys with the full spikes, but this was a really interesting looking character, and I think you bought them as a 2. This is Rowdy Roddy Piper, who's got a very big palm and a sort of funny smirk on his face, and it looks like he's spilt a banana milkshake all down his chest. Another Ultimate Warrior, this time he's one of those jumpy ones. One of my favourite wrestlers, even though I didn't used to watch him. If you watch back on the old, you know, before they fight and then they're like talking to the... These Beetlejuice toys. This guy, he's got these little snaky things that come out of the top of his head, which is fun. Colours are great, design's great, looks great on the shelf. And then this one where his head just pops off. I've actually never seen the film. I've always wanted to see the film, and it's been added to Netflix recently. I've added it to my list and I am going to watch it. Next up, we'll go for these. This is 2 boxed figures. I think these are the only boxed figures I've got in my collection. 2 Street Fighter figures. Street Fighter was very significant for me. It was one of those things I remember growing up where I really wanted that game. Me and my brother used to make my dad take us to the fish and chip shop just to go and play, and there was all like older kids queuing to play, and we were sort of very timidly waiting to get our turn, and then we were dying really quickly, and sometimes they were doing like winner stays on, so we would just get 1 go each and then have to go all the way home. When we got our Super Nintendo with Street Fighter, it was a big deal. I played it religiously. I recently downloaded one of the new ones and it's still really playable. Great game, great characters. These ones are kept in the boxes because the artwork's really cool and you can see the figure really well. His hobbies and skills are able to sleep anywhere and hitchhiking. Why do they feel the need to come up with these kinds of things? These characters are really cool. The articulation on these toys is amazing. If these were available when I was a kid, I would have been saving my pennies to get them. I wish I could have got more of these when they weren't really expensive. I think they're really expensive now. They were relatively expensive originally, maybe like 30 quid each, maybe 40 quid. But now if you get like a new one, a boxed one, like they're really expensive because they discontinued them. But these are really cool. I really like these. They'll look really nice on the shelf. Raphael, I got this guy at a car boot sale for £1. Amazing toy, loads of articulation on the joints, even his thumb. His thumb has its own joint on it. Really cool. It's going to look great on the shelf. £1, absolute bargain. Another couple of bad guys from He-Man. This guy's kind of like got this furry skin. furry fur.
Bossman is green, so I can't be seen.
He's green, he looks like some sort of swamp guy. He's got a funny face, which is going in and out of focus. This guy who's like got, I don't know, like a lobster head or a monster head, and then he's got this claw which still works considering this was made in 1981, 2 years before I was born. This is still working, so yeah, that's quite cool. This guy, they can both stay. My brother bought me this for Christmas after I started collecting. It's like a pixelated 8-bit 3D Super Mario. Old Thundercats toys. You've got Mumra, which looks really strange without his headgear. He's just got a bald head. But I do have the sword, which is surprising, and his action still works. He was quite cool because he had this little thing that plugged into the back there, and then his eyes would light up red, which is one of the things that happened in the cartoon. I'm not a massive fan of this Lion-O. He doesn't look great, but his action still works. So they'll keep on the shelf. I've got this fly guy. I'm not sure what he's from, because these guys, they are fake He-Man baddies, I guess, because they don't. This guy doesn't look like a good guy. That's Bucky O'Hare. He was an intergalactic space flying bunny saving the universe from bad guys. This was one of his right-hand men. Can't remember the name of that guy, but that was Bucky O'Hare. These guys were out around 1990. Great design, great colours. Those guys can stay. Captain Planet, I think I got him for about 50p at the car boot sale. That's a Dr. Robotnik. I think that's a cool toy. That will stay. Super Mario, that will stay next to the other one. There's this guy. I have no idea what he's from, but he's like a cartoony version of a Godzilla type monster. I can't think of what that's from. If anyone knows what that's from, let me know. I've always been a collector. Since I was a kid, I would always have like action figures or trading cards. I don't know why, but I like having things around. I like having them on my shelves in my creative space. Every 6 months I'll just take them off the shelf, give them a clean. It gives me something. It's hard to explain, but every collector knows what that is. It's kind of a reassuring feeling. I don't know the psychology behind it, but it's there, and that's part of me, I guess, and it's something I had fun showing you, and I hope you had fun watching. I will see you in the next episode. I hope everybody's keeping well. Thanks a lot. Bye bye bye.